Start iTracking by going to the search box. Type in iTracking and select iTracking from the list. iTracking will load. You will have 3 tabs at the top, including Reports, Sites, and Studies. Click Studies. Select New. Type in study name and optionally put in a description. Once that's completed, select OK. Your new site will pop up at the bottom of your site list. Double-click on it and it will bring up the Site Manager. For the purpose of practice, you can go to the Help tab. Select it and it will bring up your file browser with 5 site files and 1 RAIN file. Select these 6 files and drag and drop them into the Site Manager, either collectively or individually. They will then be populated into the Site Manager. You can arrange your sites, drag your upstream site, and drop it onto the downstream site in order to make a connection. These connections will represent the layout of your wastewater collection system. In this case, we have a series with 5 being your most upstream and 1 being the collection point most downstream. We also have your general RAIN file. You can click on each one of the files to bring up data about that specific file. The values in white can be edited if you need to change anything. You can select a RAIN file. In this case, we'll select General, and it will attach your general RAIN file to that specific site. You can also select your processing meter groundwater infiltration. In this case, we'll use Auto. You have the option of using minimum average, minimum absolute, or you can specify a value. The values in gray are populated by data that was entered into your iTracker at the time you did the installation. These values will not be editable. Make sure to check each one of your sites and the data to make sure it is correct. In this case, we need to make sure we add the general RAIN file to each one of the sites. We've added it for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, and we should have already added it for 1, so you will see it's recorded. Once you're finished, select Report. You can either use the left side or the top Report button. This will bring up your Report Manager. It will be populated with the dates that are common to all of your files. From within the available dates, you may select your beginning and end dates. Please do not exceed 60 days. You can then change your gallons per resident if they differ from the national average of 182. In this case, we will use the average of 182. We will use $1 per 1,000 gallons of 2.8. This will help us evaluate the cost of our groundwater infiltration. Once you are finished, select the Build Report button. The first report that pops up will be your bar graph for each different site, which shows a breakdown of the 3 basic flow components and the total I&I. Values will pop up as you highlight each graph. See that Site 3 has the highest bar graphs. The key here indicates purple for your groundwater, blue for your base, green for your rain-derived I&I, and yellow for your total I&I. This also applies to your dollar amounts, which can be brought up from an additional graph on your right-hand side. Go through the list of available graphs, including bar graphs and pie charts. You have several options in your pie charts, including groundwater values, base values, RDI values, total I&I values, total I&I costs, groundwater costs, base costs, total costs. Pie charts will break out your values into each one of the 5 different sites. As you can see here again for your RD I&I costs, your Site 3 has the greatest cost related to RD I&I. Click in on each different icon on the right and it will bring up the new chart or bar graph. Scroll up and down to see all of the available graphs, or you can select View All to see them all as icons. If you need to see more detail about a specific site, you can select the line charts and it will bring up the line chart for each site. The key is at the top indicating your data, rain, peak, average values, dry day average values, and groundwater values. These will show up on each of your hydrographs, whether it be for level in inches, and volumetric change, also known as delta V. can scroll down through each one of the sites to see all the sites in your study. These are the total values for each site, unlike the bar graph or bar charts, which show the values for each individual site. Each upstream site has been subtracted from the downstream site so you can see which site has the biggest impact. You can also go into results and see more detailed information, including daily averages for your settings and so forth. You can generate a PDF by clicking print. This will show your site layout and will be in a PDF form. You can scroll down to see each page has a graph per page. This will include all of your bar charts and pie charts. This can be used for evaluating levels, volumes, and dollar amounts. You can also see each one of your hydrographs. This PDF can be saved or sent.